Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Movie Review, episode 139. This one I'm viewing the 19th film of the MCU, Avengers Infinity War. A film that I thought of as so, and I list this off of my things I thought was really bad about last year, was the fact this film should have been nominated for a heck of a lot more awards than it did. This film was really good. I mean, yes, the movie got a lot of good acting, got a lot of good special effects, and yet it's nominated for 2 awards. And yet you could have nominated this for Best Picture. The film was really good. Like, oh my gosh, it was so freaking good. Yes, that's what award it was nominated for the freaking Oscars. Let's see. For the Oscars, it was nominated for 1 award. Best Visual Effects. And it lost. Yes, it lost. At least some of the other ones basically got good nomination for, but this film, nope. I'm like, oh my gosh, Disney, why the heck did you nominate this film for like 1 award? Best Visual Effects, which I can think of probably several other awards this film can nominate for. Like, how about very good cinematography, best direction? The film was directed really well, and the fact that, well, probably also for good script, basically, because the film script was really good. Yep. The film opens, believe it or not, with Thanos attacking the Asgardians. Yep, him and his group attacking the Asgardians, where he kills Heimdall and he kills frickin' Loki. Though this is later on done thanks to the Disney Plus show Loki, where somehow he's alive. Somehow. Despite the fact he died in this movie. Oh yeah, and he also basically killing some of the Asgardians, not all of them per se. Oh yeah, in case you want, now in this film, they do not mention what happens to Valkyrie, Korg, or Meek. Yeah, those 3 characters are completely never mentioned the whole movie what the heck happened to them. It's later explained in the next film. Oh yeah, they're perfectly fine. Apparently, Valkyrie decided to evacuate most of the people off the damn ship off to someplace. I'll probably get the evacuation squad. And the reason why Thanos was here was because Loki took a stone from the vault. What did he take? He took the ether. Yep. He gives Thanos the cosmic cube, and then Thanos kills him. Yep. Kills Loki and kills frickin' Heimdall. Which makes it like, okay, so that makes that 4 Asgardian characters from Thor comics who are killed. Like, Heimdall was killed, like, way too easily. I'm not sure why the Russo brothers thought we got to kill freaking Heimdall. I hope to God they resurrect him, because that kid killing him was stupid. I mean, you bring him back for this movie, by far, probably his 5th appearance day, and he's killed by freaking Thanos. Oh, there was a joke in the trailer for this movie. Yeah, and like, everyone's like, where is Thanos' helmet? Because Thanos is not wearing a helmet. Oh yeah. Pretty much the whole point of this is that it's a nod to what happened with Thor's helmet back from the first Thor movie. He just takes it off and never puts it back on. You'll see the helmet again to the very next Avengers film. Not at the beginning, of course. Yep. Takes Tesseract, sends Thor off into frickin' space until he gets picked up by the frickin' Guardians of the Galaxy. Hulk is set to frickin' Earth, and he crashes right into the Second Sanatorium. Basically, this is a visual nod to the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, where instead it was the Hulk, it was the frickin' Silver Surfer. He was worried about frickin' Thanos. Yeah, very cool visual nod. This film takes inspiration from 3 different comic book storylines. Thanos' Quest, which is his heavy for this film, the Infinity Gauntlet, and Infinity. Because this film is famous for the debut of about a handful of characters. This film is the debut of the Black Order. For some reason, they refer to them as the children of Thanos, despite the fact in the comics they are not. You have Ebony Maw, Proxima Midnight, and Cole Oberson. Yep, Ebony Maw, really good looking character. I love the look for this guy. And it's so funny that they refer to him as Squidward, which I thought was so hilarious, the fact they referred to him as Squidward. Yep, so basically, I think it was possibly off screen that, well, possibly that Bruce Banner, he must have told Doctor, hey, can you contact Tony Stark? Where it's filmed this movie that him and Pepper have gotten engaged. Yep, apparently after Homecoming, they got engaged. Oh yeah, and here's something really weird though. Apparently Pathfinder does not watch the movies at all, and she thought that the Spider-Man Homecoming film was an Avengers movie. Yeah, she gets so freaking confused. Yeah. So she had no idea it was simply just a Spider-Man movie, so she's there in the movie for a freaking cameo. Yeah, mentioned they're engaged and mentioned about possibly having kids. That's when Dr. Strange said, hey, can you come to my mansion? Can you come to my house, please? Can you pick up your best friends in my house? Can you come pick them up, please? So he comes, and we have the first, meeting between Doctor Strange and Iron Man, which these two are very good friends in the comic, despite the fact Tony Stark is not a very nice person at times. He's also a bit annoying to him, but they're actually pretty good friends. Oh yeah, and there's no mention of the facial bros club because both of them got facial hair. Yeah. And of course they talk for a while, and then all of a sudden they hear something outside. What's outside? Frickin' Thanos' dropship. Yeah, and somehow this gains the attention of frickin' Spider-Man. Yeah, and that's when basically we have Ebony Maw and Cole Obotson show up, and they're like, hey, Dr. Strange, can you hand over your gem, please, that you have inside that thing around your neck? He's like, no. So they have a big brawl across New York City. Bruce Banner tries to Hulk up, doesn't work at all. As a matter of fact, except for the opening scene, you never see like the Hulk actually appear after this. Yeah, in the trailers you actually saw the Hulk, but they edited it out, replaced it with Bruce Banner and Veronica. Yes, Veronica. A armor named after the character from Archie Comics. Veronica Lodge, one of the two women in love with Archie. Yep. He just put on a movie. He just puts on the armor later in the movie just so he can go to Wakanda. Yep. So Spider-Man and so Doctor Strange is taken by Ebony Maw because, well, couldn't get the gem. I'll take you. I'll take you. I'll take you along with the gem. So Iron Man follows him. Of course, Spider-Man gets a brand new suit, and of course, well, Spider-Man tries to get Spider-Man to leave, but he stays along anyways. And yeah, and then of course, well, they figure out a way to take. Of course, there's an interesting nod. There's a very good nod to what happens to Doctor Strange in the comics, where they show us in the trailer where he's getting needles in his head. Yeah, that's actually a nod to what Ebony Maw did to him in Infinity. Yeah, so these two got a history in the comics where he did try to torture him. Like, oh my gosh, it's like, I'm sure Hickman loved the fact that they threw a lot of visual nods. Now, in case you're wondering about the four characters, the other two were Proxima Midnight and Claro's Glove. Proxima Midnight of the four. Now, there's about a couple of members who actually don't appear in this movie. One, of course, is Super Dwarf. Yeah, unknown why he didn't appear in this movie. And there's also another few members of the group. There's actually 6 members of the Black Order, which it's good the fact that the Black Order finally make their basically the live action appearance. Now, of all the characters appearing in the movies, these guys have not been around in the comics very long. By the time they made their live action debut, they only debuted like 5 years prior. They've only been around for 6 years. Yes, 6 years these characters have been around for. And here's the thing, at the end of Infinity, almost all of them except for Ebony Maw and Proxima Midnight were all killed throughout the entire Infinity event, though Carol Skull came back later, and Ebony Maw basically went off with Thanos' son Thane. All in case you're wondering, there's no mention of him having biological children in this movie. Or at least any of the movies at all. Of course, they mention the whole past with Gamora. And we also have, and what is Claire's Glove and Proxima up to? Well, they decided to go after Vision and Scarlet Witch, who are hanging out in Scotland of all places. Why Scotland? No idea. They attack them in the frickin' subway. They're about to take the mind gem from Vision when Captain America, the Falcon, and Black Widow show up and basically turn into a frickin' brawl, which it has escaped, and they all go take sanctuary at the Avengers compound. And of course you have Ross like, hey, can you take these people to the cutscene, please? Yeah, sure, I'll get right on. Toss them and like, hey, how can I help? And of course they mention the whole thing with his, they go about the gems. Meanwhile, what's up with Thor? He beats the freaking Guardians of the Galaxy. He's like, who are you guys? We're the Guardians of the Galaxy. Never heard it before. Yep. So they decided to split the two teams. One to go act to after frickin' Thanos, trying to get him to stop whatever he's doing, which is basically now of all the members, most of them except for Rocket and Groot decide to go off to deal with Thanos, figure out what he's up to. Well, he's go visit the Collector because he has an Infinity Gem. As in the case of Thor, well, he needs a new weapon because even though that here's the thing, it was revealed throughout the film Ragnarok, he actually has thunder powers flowing throughout his whole body. He needs a weapon to use to fight against freaking Thanos because he's basically fighting. He was fighting unarmed with his bare fist, despite the fact he has thunder through his veins. They also fixed the eye problem they got from his own movie, where Rocket Raccoon gives him an eye that he took from somebody, a cybernetic eye. Thor puts his own eye, and then after that, his whole missing eye thing is never mentioned again. And they go off to the home of the dwarfs. Not thinking dwarfs. And by the way, they also have the Dwarf King make his first ever live action appearance in this movie, and he's played by Peter Dinklage, second comic based character he's played. This time he's not playing a villain per se. Also, for some reason, despite the fact that he's referred to as a dwarf, for some reason he's a giant. Yeah, when I saw this film in theaters, I'm like, that's a giant, not a freaking dwarf. Why the heck that dwarfs basically are giants in this movie are never explained. They actually go to the home world of the dwarves, which is not a planet, it's basically like a freaking space station. Why this change, I have no idea. They do bring up the fact that this guy is the one responsible for creating Mjolnir. He just bring up Mjolnir was destroyed, and we need a great new weapon, Stormbringer, which appearance-wise looks like the ultimate version of the ultimate Mjolnir from the Ultimate Universe. Yep. The one Ultimate Thor used. And the name Stormbringer comes from the name of the weapon that was used by Beta Ray Bill. Why in the world they decided to give this name to replace weapon for Thor, I have no idea. They forged a weapon. Of course, they had to reactivate the core, which apparently became dormant. Also, Thanos, of course, he's also get this. The Dwarf King is also revealed to be one who actually designed and made the Infinity Gauntlet. The object that holds all the Infinity Gems. Yeah, he's the one who made it. So, and apparently Thanos basically, as payment for making this thing, slaughtered his entire freaking race, leaving him the only one alive. Yeah, this is weird and quite awkward. In case you're wondering, is this reverse of the movie? By the next film, comes out this year? Never mentioned at all. This is actually the first time the dwarves actually appear in live action. I think it's great that they feature them. Though why they're depicted as giants is never really explained. So they make the Stormbringer. They need a handle because, of course, they couldn't find a proper piece of wood for the handle. So Groot sacrificed his own arm to make a handle. So they have Rocket, Groot, and Thor teleport to Earth while something else is going on. Apparently, that Thanos found out the vision is Wakanda. So we have Thanos' army invade frickin' Wakanda right outside the Golden City. And yeah, Black Panther has this awesome line the whole movie, like, put the city on defense. And get this man a shield. And those people prepare for battle. So we have the Avengers teaming up with the armies of Wakanda to take on Thanos' army. It becomes kind of like a big brawl. But not as big as it's going to be in the next film, which I'll talk about that in a future review. Yeah, battle goes on for a little while. And here's also, before I continue with this, I have to talk about what happens in space. Yeah, so Doctor Strange is saved by Iron Man and Spider-Man, which they decided to do something quite interesting. Okay, let's talk about, so they apparently discussed, so the way to get rid of Ebony Maw, aka Squidward, is to shove it out with the frickin' space. So they bust a hole in the hole, and they just shove it on the space for him to die. Yep, and they make a reference to aliens in the movie. Why not? And then we have, I think anybody who's a fan of Spider-Man and Doctor Strange probably just had a fangasm of seeing Doctor Strange meet Spider-Man. two characters that apparently writers in Marvel love having these two team up with each other, because he's one of the few characters people love team up with. Spider-Man teams up with a lot. Aside from him, there's only maybe two other characters people love seeing Spider-Man team up with, and that's Daredevil and Wolverine and occasionally the Punisher. Captain America not very much, but mostly it's just Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Wolverine, the Punisher. Doctor Strange is one. The only reason people love the fact these two team up because same guys who created them, Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, and the fact they do this. Yeah, the fact they do this very hand sign, which by the way in the film they never acknowledge the fact that Doctor Strange does this to Spider-Man, despite the fact that he does it anyways. So he's like, I'm Spider-Man. I'm Peter Parker. Like Stephen Strange. Or the Spider-Man. And of course takes up his helmet, like his mask right in front of him. Yeah, and makes him probably one of the handful of people who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So they go off to find Thanos. Yep. And then while that's going on, we have the Guardians go to nowhere. Well, apparently it's revealed that, well, they think the Collector's Creator, of course, he plays one again by Benicio del Toro, and it found out that he actually died. Yep, Thanos killed him in nowhere. And also, he apparently killed the entire Nova Corps. Yeah, he basically destroyed the planet Xandar. Yeah, is as if this is reversed by the next movie. No idea. They never explain it. Yep. Eventually, they go to Titan. Yes, they go to Thanos' homeworld, which is not a moon of Jupiter, as suspected in the comics. Yes, the Titan, basically where he's from, is one of Jupiter's moons. That's where Thanos is from. In the movie, Titan is a separate planet in a different solar system. This change, I don't mind. Also, they also have it where Gamora goes with him, despite the fact he's like, of course, he started off with, okay, so you're the boyfriend. And he's like, he tries to hit him, he's like, okay, I approve of you dating my daughter. Okay, just because he hit him. And of course, Gamora goes up with him to the place where the Soul Stone is. Yep, Soul Stone part of this movie had not been found. They actually found it on a different planet. Let's see, where do they go? What's the name of the planet? They go to Vormir. Yes, they go to Vormir. Now, the people of the planet don't appear in this movie, but someone else does. Yep, they go to Vormir and they meet the Soul Stone's keeper, the Red Skull. Yeah, this is completely original in the movie. And in case you wondering, is it the same actor who played him in Captain America First Avenger? No, it's a completely different actor. Despite the fact that the original actor was actually contracted to reprise his role, he never did at all. Instead, they cast a new guy, Ross McQuarrie. Yeah, he played him basically in this film and the following film. Why in the world this was, I have no idea. Yeah. Also, why in the world they waited so long to bring him back? 7 years? Unknown why. Probably because the fact they had no media plans. There was a mention of him in the TV show, and well, they apparently say the first robot Hydra, according to S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, Red Skull's a Nazi. Yep. But the thing is, he actually been declared dead for years. And I get how probably that Thanos Gamora might not know who he is. The viewers know who he is. And what happens in the next film, I kind of call bullcrap the fact that the people who meet up with him, like, I'm sure that one of them probably read about him thanks to S.H.I.E.L.D. files, but how can they not recognize the frickin' Red Skull? So, how did Thanos get the Soul Stone? Well, he kills Gamora by throwing her off a cliff. Gets Soul Stone. He's like, okay, I have all the stones of one. I need the Mind Gem. So, goes to Earth. But first, he has to make a stop at Titan because somehow he's drawn there. So, apparently they decide to just, well, have the Guardians, basically most of them anyways, go. Well, they have a brief fight with Doctor Strange, Iron Man, and Spider-Man, and then they have this big brawl where they all convince like, yeah, we should stop. And of course, everybody's teaming with someone Thanos. And of course, during the fight, you have Spider-Man saving Mantis and Drax. As for the fact if Mantis does basically thank Spider-Man afterwards, well, I think it's implied that she does. It's not even follow up in the next movie at all. If in fact she ever thanks Spider-Man for protecting her and Drax, yeah. And of course, that's when Starlord figures out though that when they try to take the gauntlet off to make sure he doesn't sacrifice half the freaking universe, he, of course, Starlord finds out Mantis finds out that he apparently killed Gamora. That Starlord gets mad and tries to kill Thanos. They get a close movement and he fails. And he teleports himself back to Earth where him and his armies basically take on freaking the army of Wakanda and most of the Avengers, which basically at that point consists of just Captain America, Bruce Banner, Black Panther, Falcon, War Machine, and Scarlet Witch and the Vision. Well, Vision basically stays behind, but they basically tear through Thanos' army. And that's when Thor's group shows up, and of course you have it's where they have this funny scene of the Chris's comparing each other, like, hey, you copied my beard. And he says, hey, you got haircuts. Which I thought that was so funny. And it is so something, though, the fact these two would do this. Because the thing is, both these two and Chris Pratt have a friendly rivalry with each other over various things, like who's more ripped, who's more of a badass on screen. Yeah. But it's a friendly competition between these three guys. And I'm surprised these two don't ever have actually go to the Comic-Con and both these two guys take up their shirt and have the girls scream at them. Yep. So then they fight, and of course Thanos does win. Well, first they apparently try to kill Vision, but thanks to using the Time Stone, which they got from Doctor Strange on Titan, who says, yeah, he just basically just gave it to him. So he reverses it, takes out the mind gem, also part of his body too, which is also another nod to the comics. This happened in the Infinity Gauntlet storyline, though Vision does not have the mind gem in his body. It's actually just some other object that the Ultron put in. And then, of course, then he has when he disappears, and then the snap happens, and half the universe disappears. Basically, most of the characters killed in this particular scene, pretty much everybody on the planet, with the exception of Nebula and Iron Man, get killed on Titan. On Earth, most people were killed there, except for Captain America, Rhodey, Rocket, Thor, Okanite. Yeah, she actually does survive here. And it's actually a small handful of people. I'm trying to think who actually does get killed. I think that's it. About 5 or 6 people, and of course they all have shocked. And then we have Thanos on a peaceful world, which is also another nod to the comics, where in the comics the reason why he went to this planet because he actually failed at the Infinity Gauntlet. And of course, the next one basically is a nod to it too, when they first show the planet. They are accomplished. And then we have this awesome post-credit scene. We have Nick Fury. First time in Phase 3 he's actually shown up with Maria Hill. And of course, everyone's wondering where all these crashes come from. Apparently no one's there. And then of course, they both start dissolving. And of course, Nick Fury just takes out a pager. Yes, a futuristic pager. Which, I do kind of remember these things because I saw my dad use it back in the 90s. He presses it, and what appears on screen? The symbol for Captain Marvel. Setting up the Captain Marvel, which came out just earlier this year, in March. I forgot to mention this in my last episode, but when Black Panther was released last year, they released it in February, in time for Black History Month. Smart move on the part of Marvel to do. And for Captain Marvel, they released it in time for Women's History Month. Fantastic. That was really smart of them to do. But of course, before we get to Captain Marvel, we have one movie before we get there. And next movie review, which I do tomorrow, which is my 40th anime, 140th anime review, I'm doing a review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. Yes. I'll talk about that. Now, this film takes place during the events of this film, but I'll talk more about that in my next video, okay? Produce the next video, which will be tomorrow, because I don't have more videos to do today. So, tomorrow will be, hopefully, a lot of videos. If I don't get time to do it tomorrow, maybe do something basically videos. I'm going to do tomorrow reviews of My Hero Academia, Case Closed. Probably two movie reviews, and I would probably say a review for Flames of Recca if I get time to, okay? See you next view. Bye.